Yeah, I guess that's what people call the now. You know, you're in the now, and it's beautiful. And another thing, just talking about the now, is I used to think when I would hear people talk about getting in the now, like Eckhart Tolle is, you know, very
Right.
famous for that, and Sid Banks, who I learned from, was big into that. And but I used to think at times, like, why would I want to be in the now? Like, the now is horrible, you know. When times
Just
are
get out
tough,
of
you
here.
know, it's like, question it. Like, maybe nice for you, you know, but I don't want to be in the now. Like, I want to be everywhere but the now, you know. But I started to realize the now is not hearing your problems. The now is kind of a spiritual place. You know, it's when you're outside your head and it's quiet, and you just, it's that feeling. I just feel like it always comes back as that feeling. And when you're outside your head, it's the whole world looks different. You know, what you perceived as a problem, just the problem kind of disappears. But also certain things become more enhanced, you know. So you'll see a flower, or just sitting in your office and there'll be a picture, or just like white walls. You know, my office has a lot of white. It's like the whiteness is more white. You know, when you go
Nice.
out of your head, it's kind of, things are more enhanced. And to me, that's what the now is. It's not the suddenly you go into your problems that you currently have. It's the opposite. Your problems are kind of created by your personal thoughts, you know, and it is kind of, when you listen and your thoughts stop, it's hard to explain, but that now is beautiful. That's all I can say. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that anything can be happening outside you. I mean, I tell the story a lot of the chief Sitting Bull. It was in the West. So anyway, he was in a battle, and all of the bullets were, you know, coming across the field. And this is kind of the American government versus the Native Americans back in those days. And Sitting Bull just walked across the battlefield in the with bullets all going all around him, and he went out into the middle and he just sat. Maybe that's why he's called Sitting Bull. But this wasn't just about like evading all of the bullets that were coming. This was about his frame of mind that was probably not in the mind. You know, he's probably outside of his mind, like you talk about, outside of his head, and creating this space that seemed like magical by his own being. And out of that, you know, he didn't get hit by anything, which it's just such an interesting, maybe it's lore, maybe it's mythical story, but I still love the story because I think that's, whether it's true or not, I think it's a wonderful metaphor for being in that divine space where you're in the now and you're not judging or in the past or the present, and you feel all of the fullness of being. What doesn't matter what's going on around you? You know, who could really harm you? Is anybody out there who could really harm you? I mean, this is like, I think this is our essence. And this is who we are created to be. And you're experiencing it, and you're helping other people experience it through your story. Because I think that this is so important. This is I want to say it's our line of defense, and that's not even a good word because there's nothing to defend ourselves from. But we get so overwhelmed by the problems of the world. And it sounds like you're able to create this space in your life where the problems of the world have no real significance. Is that true?
Yeah, to some degree, you know, like I spend very little time really. You know, I do watch the news sometimes, you know,
Oh, don't do that.
but it has very little meaning to me because it's not, I mean, it's not where the answers lie, you know. The answers don't lie with the problems. And, you know, I was kind of umming and ahhing if I should talk about my story, if I should talk about what I know, you know, because, you know, I've kind of had this insight, you know, for a while. And I think the hard thing for me is I see a lot of suffering around me. You know, I'm not talking about global, because obviously there is a lot of suffering way beyond that I see living in, you know, beautiful Wales. But it's just even suffering, you know, with people I work with and seeing people with mental anguish. And, you know, one lady in passing once said to me, I can't stop my mind, you know. And I feel like well, it's not really appropriate for me to be, maybe, I don't know if I should talk now, or, it was kind of I don't know, like some staff do or something. And and then I hear people talking, and I see people getting ill, and it's really hard to watch. It's really hard to watch, I guess, and to see people suffer. And I mean, not necessarily all the time, but a lot of the time it could be avoided, and it's just a lack of understanding, and they just haven't probably ever been exposed, to any concept of being able to go outside of your head and looking for beautiful feelings inside. Or it's really, I get quite emotional, but it's really hard to watch how lost, so many people are, and it's innocence. I mean, that no one well, don't say no one, there's loads of books out there and stuff, but it's amazing how people most people don't know they exist, or have the thought to read them. It's kind of not in their world. It's not on their vibration, or whatever you want to say.